weather, it's humid and hot in the summer, and it is humid and cold in the winter. It didn't snow very much. Maybe snowed like once a year, and it's only like an inch, but it's cold, like because it's still humid, and so everything gets kind of frozen. The wind like just cuts through you. You just imagine being damp and then like being cold. It's cold, and it feels like no matter how many layers you put on, that you're still cold. So, and then in the summer it's just hot, and there's mosquitoes, and you just get sweaty and you just stay sweaty. You just are wet all the time. You have to make sure that the towel, it can't be bunched up at all when it's hanging, or else it's not going to dry. And the shower curtain, you have to like make sure it's extended all the way, or else you get mold growing up in it because it won't dry out. Transportation for the missionaries, majority had a car. You'll probably bike at some point for a couple months. If you're in downtown Atlanta, then you'll use public transportation. You'll use a system called MARTA, Metro Atlanta Rail Transportation Association or something like that. I don't remember exactly. I never had to use that, but because I never served downtown. Most of the people, a lot work for Delta, for the airport, and then just kind of a variety of just odd jobs. Work for businesses, work for stores, just kind of the normal American society. So like crime safety kind of thing, you definitely gotta use common sense in what you're doing. I know that there were some missionaries who were jumped, and that was just because they were in places that they shouldn't have been. You don't have to talk to every single person that you see. The Lord loves everyone, but He also doesn't want to get His missionaries hurt. So if you follow the Spirit, listen, to promptings, and just be smart with what you're doing. You shouldn't be in the most dangerous spot after dark. Gotta be smart with what you do and how you use your time. That's another thing. Although there are a lot of people who are really interested in talking about the Savior, a lot of people, that's all they're interested in talking about. They aren't, and they'll just, because they recognize that you're a minister, a representative of Jesus Christ, they'll agree with just about everything you say. You could tell them, that the end of the world is tomorrow, and they'd probably say, "Oh yeah, true that," and they'll just agree with you. So you got to be smart about who you spend your time with, who you plan. No one, learn to recognize when they're just agreeing with you just to agree with you, and when they're actually sincere about learning about the gospel, which is kind of frustrating sometimes, because you learn to love people. That's kind of what happens as a missionary, whether you like it or not. You learn to really care about people, and as you get to know them, you become pretty good friends with them, and you know that the gospel is going to help them, and you can see how it's going to help them. And sometimes it's hard when they just don't accept it and they don't live it. So sometimes you have to drop people and realize that put them in the area book. Some missionaries will go back there sometime. We'll give the Lord some time to work on them and get them to a point where they'll actually listen. This is kind of interesting. It's called the Peach State. I didn't see a single peach tree my entire mission. That's because most of the peaches are down south in Georgia. I only ever had one Georgia peach, and there wasn't anything special about it. It tasted like a normal peach, so I don't know, they're proud of their peaches, but not very prevalent, I guess. I don't know, but it's a big spot for like the Civil War, which was really cool. I remember for a couple zone conferences we went to, a couple Civil War battlefields, and some graves, or some cemeteries, Civil War cemeteries. And that was really, really cool experience, to be there, to see I mean, in some cases they still had like the imprints of like where the trenches were that they dug. So a lot of history there all over the Civil War, and a lot of, I mean, there's also, Atlanta's the home of Martin Luther King, so the civil rights movement and stuff, that all happened there. And I never got to go see Martin Luther King's house, but I know a lot of missionaries did, and that's something I wish I had gone and done. I just was never in that area. So a lot of civil pride, a lot of really cool history there. A lot of people, I met a lot of people who were alive during that time. They were there and they were part of it. So that was really cool to talk to them about that. There's like Georgia Tech and Georgia State that's there, and so there's a lot of students. That's in downtown Atlanta. I usually heard a lot of not very good things about the students there. They're a lot of times kind of frustrating, but a lot of times, there's strong YSAs there because of that, and they did see some pretty good success there. But I heard it was kind of frustrating sometimes. I never served there, so I don't have any firsthand experience with that. So there's a lot of deer. There's a lot of like possums, a lot of roadkill. There's armadillos there. I only ever saw one live armadillo. There's a lot dead on the side of the road. You gotta be careful of them. Apparently they carry leprosy, so gotta stick away from those. A lot of interesting food, a lot of Cajun food. One of my favorite things was like fried okra. A lot of people didn't like it, but I really liked it. It's like this plant that grows down there in the south, and they fry it, and it's really good. I liked it. A lot of barbecue. It's good. A lot of fried chicken, which is really good too. So.